This is the countdown. This is the countdown to the Dan and Kody podcast. This is the countdown. This is the countdown. 20 seconds left until it starts. This is the countdown. This is the countdown to the Dan and Kody podcast. This is the countdown. This is the countdown. Get ready for it to take off.
Here's the thing. I want to make myself abundantly clear. If you take a dump on my bed / our bed, and it's on purpose, no trial, no paperwork, no suing. It's just over.
This is the Dan and Kody podcast.
This is it. Right here, Kody. You put on those headphones and you go to work.
Why are you yelling?
This is where our message is heard. It's time to get hype. Say it with me.
What are we saying?
Dan and Kody.
Dan and Kody.
Dan and Kody.
It's Dan and Kody podcast.
Dan and Kody podcast.
Dan and Kody podcast.
Get some.
Dan and Kody podcast.
Get some.
Dan, you, first of all, just for clarity's sake, okay? You're telling me if Jenny walked into the room and laid an abominable snowman on your chest, not your chest, but on your bed, you would throw it down with your wife.
It's a deal breaker for me, Kody.
You're already married. The deal's in place. How are you breaking that deal? You're saying she does this, it's absolution of your marriage takes place. Is that what you're saying to me right now?
I don't need to be around that kind of person. Any person.
I don't need to be around that guy. It's your wife, Dan. It's your wife, dude.
There's literally nothing more that needs to be said for any person. And that's almost an open invitation. Anyone want to end their relationship with me? Come over, take a shit on my bed, and we will call it done. Forever. You will never have to worry about me ever talking to you again. Reaching out to you, doing anything for you.
Okay.
It's a wrap.
Over.
100%. What else? What do you need from that person after that? What?
What if it's love? What if you love them, man?
What if it's love? What could they possibly offer you after that?
Is when you get in a relationship with somebody you truly care about, does it become what they can offer you? And to be honest, they offered you something. They left something upon your bed as a means of, what is it? Like that's their, not tithing, but it's their, it's their donation.
In my best Johnny Depp impression, left a fecal delivery. A fecal delivery.
Hey man, I'm not saying I'm okay with it. Okay. But I'm just saying, what about love, man? What about love?
What about love? What about all the times you said yes?
I mean,
no.
I'm not okay with it, Dan. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not okay with it. But
let me ask you a question.
Okay. Shoot. Yeah.
Let's just make it all up. You're married to, because Maddie would never do this. You're married to some other person that you love very much,
Okay.
and they defecate in the place that you rest your head.
Yes.
You come home from a long day's work. Oh boy, I'm so tired. You get in your jammies, you flip over the covers, and voila, there is a big surprise for you waiting. What could this imaginary person who isn't Maddie, what could they possibly do or say to you that would redeem those malicious actions.
Do me.
Do me on it.
Do me on it. Do me. I mean, like, honestly, don't get me wrong. It is the biggest gross out thing. I would struggle.
I'd puke on
And
it.
I say this, I would struggle coming to terms with the fact that I witnessed it is one thing. Like, the fact that I witnessed it is the biggest problem ever.
Yeah.
If we did your scenario and I turn over and it's there and I
it's
didn't
on-
witness it,
And it's on purpose. That I'm gonna make myself clear too. There's people have accidents. Okay, if it's an accident, that's something else. All right, I can get past an accident, but
like being a 2-year-old, like if anybody's ever had kids, they understand there's something that kids do where when they're like 2 or 3 years old and they're in that mode and they're doing it, they want to make eye contact with you when it's happening. It's very weird. It's very bizarre. And so if somebody happens to be, I don't know, 30 and their partner is right across the room from them and they're just staring at them in the face, like, I don't know if that's a call for help.
Yeah.
Or it's really their way of connecting.
If I'm on that jury, man, I'd just raise my hand and be like, I've heard enough. That's all I need to hear. Johnny Depp, you win.
It'd be funny if somebody in the jury pool actually stood up and said, I'm sorry, she's guilty. I don't even know what the charges are. I don't know what's going on. She's
Guilty
done.
She's guilty as fuck.
This is it's a civil suit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's suing her for like $50 million and she's suing him for $50 million.
For $100. She's countersuing for
$100
$100. Yeah.
So, I don't like, it's such a weird thing that we're even involved in this.
Yeah, dude, I felt the same way. I was talking to Jenny and I was being all high and mighty, and I was like, you know what, babe? This trial, like, I don't want to know anything about it. It's between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and it's for them to sort out. Why are we even involved? And then I started receiving clips of this trial, and my God, did it pull me in, straight in.
The only reason I even see anything like this is because they're running the images of this, not the images, but they're running it through like Insta stories.
Yeah.
And so you happen to get that because of the Insta stories. Like the Insta stories are telling you all about it. And I try to ignore it. I try not to even.
I tried, but I have failed because I want to hear every awful thing that this bitch has done to Johnny.
Hey,
and
yeah,
there's an article that was saying like, out of like, if you took the consensus of like Twitter, it's like 11%. I forget. I'm gonna botch this, but it was something like, out of the folks who are now currently siding with Amber,
yes,
as of now, it's like 88% of those supportive people on Twitter for Amber Heard,
yes,
are bots.
Oh wow,
yeah.
So she's got no public support.
No, not after this. I think she's got a lot of egg on her face, man.
She's got something on her face.
fecal delivery.
Face. I mean,
fecal delivery.
She's definitely. I don't know how she walks out of this and she still gets work.
Will either of them work again? That's another question.
Well, he was kind of basically pushed out of the Pirates franchise.
Yeah, and Fantastic Beasts.
And at this point, he's 60 plus years old, isn't he?
He's 58.
He is 58. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he has to kind of reinvent himself, I think. he's not going to get the same types of leading roles anymore. It's just he's not the young, attractive guy anymore. He's just like the weirdo. You know,
Yeah.
he's aging out like Cage did.
Right.
Like Nick Cage aged out, but you get Nick Cage because he's Nick Cage.
Right.
So it's you know, it's weird. It's so odd.
I eh, I mean, and like there's a larger discussion that I don't know, we probably won't even, scrape the surface of, but there is a knee jerk reaction to, the, trust trust people who initiate and call out like that they're being abused, and I think there was a knee jerk reaction from Disney and Warner Brothers, if that's the
I think
studio
that's
that makes
probably a fair
Fantastic
assessment.
Beasts.
Yeah, you're right. Like in today's world, you know, the accused are given the benefit of the doubt, right? And or not the accused. The accused aren't given the benefit of the doubt. The victim's given the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And that they can make that statement and they can make the claim that, you know, and for the most part, like I kind of agree with that to some degree. Like you have to be a pretty terrible person if you're the person that screams fire in a building and there's no fire. And
Right.
that's that kind of thing. Like if you're somebody that's claiming rape or claiming abuse, like if you're the person that is proven that you actually there was no abuse whatsoever,
Yeah.
like I think the repercussions on them are even worse than somebody that's accused of abuse.
Yeah.
And so you're really you're really taking a stand by being that person. So I tend to give a victim a benefit of the doubt because you have to be crazy to go out on that line and say that you are a victim and you by no means are.
Right. And I think for the majority that it's true. It ends up being true. But,
Like in any situation, there's always a few like sour apples, right? There's always
yeah.
a weird group or a weird sect of people that it ends up being. And that's the whole case. Like that's why you give people the benefit of that's why you would give a victim a benefit of the doubt, because why would you make this story up? Like, why would you go through all of this trouble?
Right.
Like for her, truth of the matter is like if I'm her attorney, it's like I need to see some evidence that like I need to be able to provide you with good information to say, yes, you should go to court with this guy. I bet you that attorney by no means, like before the discovery section of the trial, no means had no idea that Amber Heard like took a deuce right on his bed, right in front of him.
Right. And there was audio of her being like, I didn't punch you, I hit you. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think that their relationship, as an outsider looking in on the really small sample size that I have into their personal life, I think they're either equally terrible to each other or she was abusive towards him.
Yeah, I think there was probably, I agree. I think there was definitely those elements to it. I don't understand, and I guess maybe why it explains why what I just said. It's love, man. Love makes you do crazy things. And a lot of the time you get really comfortable, you're really into somebody or you're really into a situation and you just think like, this is the way it is. You don't realize that it's not okay. Or you're too accepting of like there's this idea in relationships where you kind of like have to accept the person for who they are. That's who they are.
Do you think the sex was just fucking wild and ravenous, and that's why Johnny was like, Amber, you shat in my bed last week, but god damn it, you're wild in bed.
I think sex with Amber Heard would have been primal. And I say that this way because the only other type of person, or the only other type of animal that does that would be a monkey who picks it up and throws it at you. So when I say that their sex is primal, God only knows what Johnny Depp's into, because he's probably had so much sex in his life with so many different people that he's probably into some really weird stuff. And maybe, just maybe, they haven't brought it to court. For all we know, maybe Johnny's into some of the little pee pee and poo poo kind of love making. You know what I mean? Maybe he's a fan of the 2 girls 1 cup scenario. That's all I'm saying.
Easton says vampire sex. Ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, definitely into that. Definitely. Hey, Easton, how you doing? How you doing, girl?
Easton.
How you doing?
Shout out to Easton, our tried and true
OG.
OG Dan and Kody listener.
OG, like she goes back with us years before Dan,
seriously,
did something and I did something. She goes back to those times.
She's been there. We love you, Easton. How's the furniture business?
Number one.
You still refurbishing furniture or what?
Anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd love to be like, everyone mind your own business, but damn it, I cannot turn my head away from this trial.
I knew, we coming in, lots happened in the last couple of weeks. We did not have a show last week, as some of you are aware of. And a lot was going on. Kind of to recap what we've seen in the world over the last couple of weeks, Dan. We're now into May, man. We're 5 months into the year. Wow. 5 months into the year. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It's moving a little faster than it seems that it needs to. Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yes, he did. Get ready. Get ready for that free speech.
I don't
social media platform.
I don't really know what that means. We've got Facebook is now opening their first physical store to sell their what do you call it? Their
the Meta headset, Meta Quest.
Yeah, the headsets, the Quests, the Quest 2s.
They're selling those.
Yeah, so they're looking at selling those. What else do we have? Oh yeah, Beijing's in lockdown. COVID's taken over China.
BA2.
They're testing millions of people a day. Just like we did. But to them, it's even crazier. Like, because China's like a no, I mean, they're in like real lockdown.
Right. You can't do shit.
Can't do nothing. They got people locking you up for getting out of the buildings.
Did they know that the lockdowns didn't really work? Or did they work over
different.
there?
It might be different in China though.
Because they're like, if you don't stay in your fucking house, you're getting arrested.
Yes.
Right.
It's a different mindset, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, people were really happy the way, like, from what I'd read through like Wall Street Journal, New York Times, these kinds of papers, they all said that the majority of people locally were happy with the way China handled COVID. Well, that's obviously a little different now that COVID's actually broken out and China isn't sure if they can keep a handle on it.
Right.
And the fact that they haven't gotten everybody vaccinated, which is crazy.
Well, like, do they have a bunch of anti-vaxxers over there?
No, I mean, maybe there's some anti-vaxxers in there, but it's not like the same, Like the government could have instituted a necessity when it happened, but they didn't let Pfizer and Moderna come in with their vaccines when it first came out. So they had their own type of vaccine, but it wasn't nearly as effective. And now there's some repercussions possibly being felt. And it's all going to come down to like, how comfortable are you with letting old people die? It's really what it comes down to.
I mean, I'm just over it. Fucking get vaxxed and you're going to have a date with COVID. So you might as well have your shots.
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way. Sooner or later, you're going to put it in the wet swamp. Just make sure that you're properly clothed to dive into the swamp if you get it. What I'm saying. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Shout out to my youngest baby boy, Maddox Christopher. He turned 2 over the weekend. We had a lovely birthday party for that little guy, and when you listen to this in 17 years, Dad loves you, and like I hope you're into something other than cars and trucks next year, because fuck, we have a lot of cars and trucks now.
Dude, you're
Holy
out of your
shit!
mind. You're out of your mind. Like it's funny you bring this up, but I want to talk to you about this. The world of children's birthdays
Yeah,
it's insane, Dan.
it's not that insane. I mean,
What was your birthday? What was your birthdays like as a kid?
yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, like I had the big birthdays that I can remember. I had a Wuzzles birthday party in my, and it was just hosted at my house. On my, when I was growing up, just cake, ice cream, and a couple games, and then party favors. And then another birthday I remember was at this place called Flickers. Shout out to Flickers in Chatham Mall, Maryland. Just an arcade. You rented out the room, pizza, cake, and then like every kid got like a bag of quarters or tokens or whatever.
Yeah.
Played the games and parents picked them up.
Yes.
That's the other thing. There's no like parent drop off anymore. The parents are there.
What it comes down to
Or
is
does
like
that happen later?
like I for the most part trust everybody that was at that party of yours, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if I trust those people with my kids.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. But like for the most part, it's hard for me to imagine I just drop fits and just be like, "Well, Dan, hope he has a good time. See you later."
Well, I mean, now that we're parents and shit, like we know, like no one loves your kid more than you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, if there's if shit hits the fan,
It feels like the child's birthday feeds into the same idea about how special these kids are. I have a real fear that the mindset of my children are that they are the most special beings on the planet. And it lacks a real sense of grounding. There are other people on this planet.
but
You need to be aware of that. That doesn't mean you can't celebrate yourself, I guess, right?
are you a Jehovah's Witness?
No. But I'm just saying, like, there's just too much. Here's how it was. My mom would come in, she'd be like, "Here's a cake, here's some ice cream. You can have one friend come over, stay the night. That's it."
That's
Maybe
cool.
Maybe two. And I always, it was always the same friend. It's the same friend that came over the weekend before. So
Right.
like you have sleepovers, hang out with your buddies, eat more food than you probably normally would.
Right.
But like even with the younger birthdays, because the kids, like, how much do you remember younger than 5?
Yeah, not a whole lot. But like out of all my child birthdays, I remember 3 of them,
That is 3 more than I remember.
They all blended.
I mean, it all blended because for the most part, like my mom was, she was good about like, wanting to celebrate and do that. But I don't really remember. I don't really remember my birthdays like ever. I think I remember one birthday where my mom got me some like inline skates because I was an aggressive skater when I was like 15 and I loved them. I remember certain gifts, but I don't really remember the events of my birthday.
Right.
Ever.
I mean, Maddox isn't going to remember this truck birthday. He's going to
Sure.
see pictures. He's going to see pictures of it.
So I guess the question is who's the birthday for?
Right. I think it's just when I go to people's people's kids' birthdays, I always I kind of congratulate the parents. It's like you got them through another year, So it's an excuse to get together,
I understand the excuse to get together. Like I totally respect that, but Like
Yeah.
you look at the number of people that we encircle ourselves with, you more than me,
Yeah.
but like you have something every single weekend now.
No. Not every weekend. It's a lot though. But isn't that a
It's a lot though.
Is it-
Lot though.
isn't that a product of being cooped up for 2 years though? I think it is. I think it's all heightened because of that. It's
Maybe.
all like it's an effect. It's
So
a
you're
over
saying that we're going to see a lot more parties right now just because everybody's been in COVID.
Yeah, there's a big overcorrection
Okay. I
for
respect that.
events, for gatherings, for get together. That's why Roaring 20s, baby. That's why we made the shirts. Go to TeePublic, link in the bio, get your Roaring 20s Dan and Kody podcast t-shirt. This is a renaissance, a resurgence of like the party, the get together. It all through the 20s. It's gonna be like this.
Well, you know what? Speaking of get-togethers and traveling, here's a word from somebody we all love. Wrong button.
It fucking sucks.
It fucking sucks.
If I get stuck.
Oh, here we go. Here it is. Here it is. I want to tell you about a company called JC Room Blocks. Do you have 10 or more out-of-town guests coming to an event near you? Maybe you have a bris, a wedding, a family reunion, a science convention. Maybe some friends are coming in town and they just want to get drunk in one place. Or your mom's coming into town and she's got 10 brothers and sisters and they need a room so they can all come over to your house and have a bagel. Well, I have the answer for you. JC Room Blocks. They research hotels in the area that you need the rooms. So if you're in San Diego, they're going to find those rooms. They're going to put them together for you. Oh, what? You need to be in Boston for a little bit? No big deal. Go over to Boston and hang out with your Boston friends. You got 10 or 15 of them and you need a room? Fucking Boston. That's what you're going to do. Since they're certified travel agents, they can get you the lowest possible rates. On top of discounted rates, they can also negotiate highly discounted bridal suites, shuttle service, and food and beverage functions. If you mention the Dan and Kody podcast, that's us. They'll waive their fee. That means you don't pay anything. Okay? Check them out, jcroomblocks.com. I'm going to repeat that, jcroomblocks.com. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter and Instagram. Follow them, check them out. Get all them rooms.
Get those rooms.
Get those rooms. It's been a while, Dan. We got to throw that JC Room Block in. People are traveling. They're getting groups together.
Yeah, man.
They're checking out all them rooms. Anyway.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Anyway, I got an interesting little story here, a little tidbit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So in the state of Oklahoma, there is a Republican lawmaker who wanted to refer to himself as none other than the Patriot, right?
Oh, boy, that's Trump.
He wanted that on the ballot. Well, the Oklahoma Election Board has ruled that he cannot put the nickname. So what he'd do is he'd put his first, his last name, and then in the middle he'd do a nickname. So he'd be like Roger the Patriot Jones or whatever it is, right? So the board decided Monday that the term limited state representative Sean Roberts can still run for Oklahoma Labor Commissioner, but he can't refer to himself by that nickname on the ballot. And apparently that rule allows there's a Oklahoma election rule that allows a candidate to use a nickname if it's a name the candidate is generally known by. So if Cardi B wanted to run for office, she could run as Cardi B. That's her nickname, right? Because everybody knows there's nickname. That's not her legal name.
Cardi B,
Cardi
know
B.
me. I be
That's right.
running through the street.
Who else would be an interesting, weirded name that everybody knows?
Rick Ross.
I mean, for all we know, that's his real name, though, right?
Yeah.
Who was Post Malone?
Post Malone.
Post Malone. I guess I guess his first name could be Post, but I doubt it.
Maybe that comedian Gabriel Iglesias. He always goes by Fluffy.
Fluffy, yeah, he could be Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias. Yes, absolutely. Anyway,
Or if he
So-
changed his name to the Patriot.
No, he could change his name. He could legally go in and change his name to Robert the Patriot
Right.
or the Patriot Roberts.
Gosh, what a dog whistle for a Trump supporter. The Patriot.
Yeah, I mean it's it's this leaning into this idea that patriotism is it's like an act. It's not really a thing. It's an act. Like there's an act to be patriotic. It's not just the thing. Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane. Gucci
Yeah.
Mane. That's right. He's
Vote for me, I'm Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, aside from the political element to it, I just thought it was kind of funny because it's just like I just want to be known as the Patriot. So obviously I'm going to get votes just because I'm the Patriot. I don't know. What are your thoughts,
Right.
feelings, emotions?
I mean,
You're always a deep thinker on stuff like this, Dan.
yeah, people really try to build up personas and they coin phrases and they it's brand building. It's what everyone, a lot of people go out there and like try to do it and build up this thing for years and years and years. And for this guy, I guess it's the Patriot. But I think in this person's quest to be an elected official, he thinks that being the Patriot will, it's kind of cheap. It's like, I'm going to separate myself from the others and
By separating myself from myself.
right, by separating myself from myself and getting the like really really doubling down on the morons who will just look at the ballot and be like, huh, this guy's the Patriot. I'll vote for him. Yeah. It is.
That's an interesting point of view. Yeah, for sure.
It's literally because who there's so many people who will do that. Like, it's the same people who vote for Kanye. It's the same people who, Dog the Bounty Hunter. He could probably get in there on the ballot as Dog.
Right.
know?
Snoop.
Snoop. Yippee yo, yippee yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it is like it's sad, but patriotism is currently synonymous with fucking far alt-right Trumpies right now. And
Yeah. I mean,
by-
I know. I don't necessarily want to dive into the whole Trump thing, but it is like it's its own little sect of the world that's very intense. I mean, they're very
Yeah.
passionate about what they think they know. So
but it's like how can I convey to someone who doesn't know it, who is performing their civic duty but doesn't know shit about the candidates? How can I separate myself from them
that's
and
interesting.
also be like, I am a Trumpy. So if you like Trump, then you like me. Oh, cool. I'll put the Patriot in my.
I think that that's an
My
interesting point. That's an interesting point because it's also this idea that you really hit it on the head with this. It's almost it downgrades the voting act
Yeah.
in that, like, so the people that you're actually appealing to are the types of people that aren't actually reading in or finding out what separates each candidate.
Yeah.
You're either looking at the fact that it says R or D,
Right.
and then you're even simplifying it even more into, like, that's the most simple point. Like, well, if he's a Republican, but now you've actually added that additional element that says, I'm the Patriot.
Right.
Which immediately you hear that, like what you're saying, it definitely falls into that immediate bucket, and you don't have to think anymore. In a
Right.
strange way, it's almost like they're taking out thought out of voting.
It's basically
taking out the work to make a decision as to what's actually the best move versus what do I think's the right move.
yeah, and it's a nice little cheat code. It's the equivalent of the blue check mark on social media. You're just like,
that's
oh, okay,
interesting.
this one's real. He's the Patriot. Okay, cool, I got it. And it's sad because it exposes the voting system for what it is, and it's literally like
A popularity contest.
it's a popularity contest, and it's people are just trying to do it because they know they should, and it's like,
Right.
if someone's name in there is Crystal McGillicuddy, I'm
Yeah.
probably voting for her because I like the name McGillicuddy. I think
I was
that's fun.
listening. I was listening to an interesting podcast, and they were talking about the breakup of like political norms in society, and what it's done is it's removed the degree of moderation, right? So
Yeah.
now you have these like extreme factions on both sides, and so what it does is it pulls moderates, it forces them to choose one of the sides,
Yeah.
and what it does is it's also forced any moderate running out, because they can't win when everybody's been pulled to their extremes.
Yeah, you have to pick a side.
You as a yeah, exactly. You as somebody that's actually running for office is required to fully choose that side. So
Right.
it's like, even those people are like, I can't effectively govern because there's no moderation, and that's the problem. There's no moderation. There's no ability for me to sit down with you and say, okay, I hear and I understand why you have that point of view. Maybe we can work something out to where I can give up some of what I want. You can give up some of what you want for us to come to an agreement on how it is. It's in our government, in democracy, nobody ever wins everything. They
Right.
don't. And you're fooling yourself if you're thinking you're ever going to make change by just going to that extreme side and never working with the other side. I just don't, I don't
Right.
see it happening.
And even the politicians now, they're trapped because
They're all trapped.
they've
Yeah.
won being so fucking
Polarizing.
and
Yeah.
then they get in and it's like, "Oh, do you want to keep your seat?
Yeah.
Then you need to stay polarizing."
I think like a lot of a really interesting, like, who was it? Somebody asked me like why I'm frustrated with Joe Biden's performance, for example. And I say, well, Joe Biden got X passed. He got X passed. But the big problem that he had was he goes in. I mean, aside from the Afghanistan nonsense that took place, they came in to pass a giant bill. Nobody knew what it was, other than they hear things like, it's social spending, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And he would have been better off saying, okay, well, I should actually pick a few of the best things and force people to actually vote on each of these ideas, because then we can stand out and say, hey, this is what your guys are not okay with, and being specific about what you're doing, because you have to be very clear nowadays. You have to be very specific with what you're doing. You can't have some general nonsensical thought and hope
Right.
that it gets through, because it doesn't. You have to be very specific.
Right.
Anyway, that's our
So-
Dan and Kody political conversation for the night. So
Yeah. We before we started the podcast, Kody and I were talking about holiday weekends, and we realized that the 4th of July, it falls on a Monday, and I was licking my chops. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, the holiday's on a Monday. That means 3-day weekend, bingo." And I thought Kody would be like, "Yeah, baby, let's do it," but you weren't.
No, man. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If I had the choice to have a holiday fall on a Friday or a Monday that I know I'm going to be off of work on, I will always choose the Friday, because the Friday is a double Saturday, whereas a Monday is a double Sunday. And one of the worst days of the weekend is Sunday, because Monday follows it. It precedes.
Explain double Sunday.
I look at it this way. Sundays, for me personally, Sundays remind me that tomorrow I need to be prepared. So I start thinking about the things I need to do on Monday, on Sunday.
Right.
What ends up happening is then so then when you have a day off on Monday, you start thinking on Sunday, because you're used to it. It's part of your processing. Sunday. Oh, I'm gonna have Monday coming up. I gotta start thinking about it. Now what's happening is now I'm thinking about it on Monday when I'm not working until Tuesday. I'm still thinking about it. So it sits on my brain. It is bathing in the juices of the idea that the next day I work and I need to be ready. I need to know I'm working when I shouldn't be working.
See,
Bingo.
So you're giving Friday the benefit of the doubt and giving it a double Saturday vibe.
Yes, because I know that when I go into Friday not working, I got Saturday next day. So I know that I don't have to be thinking about nothing until Sunday. So I got double Saturdays, baby.
We discussed Friday weddings, and I used to be like hate Friday wedding, but now I love Friday wedding because you have to take off the Saturday. You have to take off the Thursday to travel. The wedding is on Friday, and then you have Saturday as your travel day, or Saturday as your chill day in whatever city you're in for the
Yes.
wedding.
Yes.
And then Sunday is your travel day, so you can go to work Monday. Or you can leave Saturday and still have that Sunday as your recovery from the travel. Boom. Then you're back to work Monday and you're regular. So I changed my vibe on the Friday wedding, but I don't know. I love a Monday off because then you go to work and you've only got the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, short week.
Short week. Now I have less time to get what I need done.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying, man, double Sundays.
What about when 4th of July falls on a Saturday? Sucks.
Bingo. It's the worst.
Oh, but it's still observed, right? It's still observed.
Is that true?
I think you still get a day off. Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Can we Google that real quick?
Yeah, Google it. Double down on it. You know, when it's all said and done, I mean, it's nice to have the day, and I get it. But, you know, it's one of those things where if I am, maybe I should actually take the Friday off that precedes that Monday. So then I got my double Saturdays, and unfortunately, I got double Sundays. Killer, man. Killer.
I mean, I also like if you fly, let's say you do take advantage of a holiday weekend, and you're getting back on a Sunday. I'll sometimes pad that vacation out an extra day, so I build a Sunday,
Nice.
basically.
Okay. Sometimes you need that double Sunday. You're right.
Boom. If the 4th of July falls on a Sunday, the federal observed holiday is the following Monday, July 5th. If the 4th falls on a Saturday, the observed holiday for most, but not all, federal employees is Friday the 3rd.
Okay.
Interesting. So yeah, if the 4th falls on a weekend, you will have either the Friday before it off or the Monday.
Like personally, I always like the 4th of July falling on a day before a weekend
Yeah,
or on a weekend day, because for the most part, you can kind of plan things. You can do things. You don't have to worry about the next day. You know.
Yeah.
But
Love when Christmas is on like a Friday
yes.
or even a
Yes.
Thursday.
That's
'Cause
my
then-
jam. Thursday,
Yeah.
because most of the time you land on a Thursday 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 is a Thursday, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So
That's-
you've got boom, dude,
It's-
best times.
That's a jackpot.
Thursday, Christmas, baby. Lock it down. Lock it down. I'm ready to inform you of a frightening story about a man at a dentist, Dan, and I want it to scare you. So I'm going to do this.
Don't you ruin my my sexual fantasies at the dental office.
I won't. So a man in Kenosha, Wisconsin, took a routine trip to the dentist office. But what ended up happening was very unexpected. While he's in the chair, the dentist is using a drill bit in his mouth. The man takes a deep breath and inhales the drill bit. It is
What?
lodged in his lung. So apparently, the man didn't even feel it going down. All I felt was a cough. And when they did the C scan, they realized you didn't swallow it, you inhaled it, sir.
Yeah,
The
that's
del-
like because that's like a little tiny like needle almost.
Yeah, it's a 1-inch
dental
bit,
drill.
and it went into this man's lungs.
How do you
They
get
said
that out?
they said the bit was so deep that normal scopes couldn't reach it. So
Is that just gonna
if they
sit in his
couldn't
lung?
take it out, they were going to have to remove a section of his lung.
Holy shit!
And apparently, they ended up using a special medical device, a new medical device that's used to remove certain tumors that they find in lung cancer patients. So they
So-
were able to navigate it down the narrow airways, and then they reached the bit and they were able to pull it out without it hurting the man.
Oh my gosh!
So he now keeps the drill on a shelf at his home.
No way.
Yeah. Apparently,
He wasn't allowed to keep that,
why?
dude. No,
What?
it's like a biohazard.
It's a drill bit. Why is it a biohazard?
When I got my wisdom teeth taken out, I couldn't take them with me.
You couldn't take the teeth.
Yeah.
What do you want to keep with broken teeth? They break those teeth up. Why do you want those pieces of teeth?
I wanted it as like a memento.
Dude, this is a metal drill bit. It's probably titanium or something.
They would
How's
never.
it a hazard?
They'd never let you walk out with that.
They let him, and it's on his shelf.
This is the bit that
This
I
is the bit.
survived.
Yeah, I mean, medical technology saved that man's life. Think about it. Think about it.
Guys, this is the last podcast that we are going to record before our old original producer, Mr. Michael Tabb, gets married.
That's true.
He's getting married this weekend, and it's going to be a fantastic, lovely, joyous occasion.
Dan, his wife, and their 2 children are going to be spending a beautiful, probably 12 hours on an airplane.
Red
There
eye.
and back. Are you guys direct flights?
Yeah.
Direct flights into Boston?
Yeah. Doing the red eye.
Doing the red eye. So the kids will sleep on the plane, hopefully.
Hopefully. That's what we're hoping. Yeah.
Oh my God. If they don't.
Moxie's
They have their own. Do they have their own? They have their own seats?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Moxie's she's great on a plane now. Just keep her fed, keep that iPad charged.
She's good to go.
She's good to go.
Real
It's-
fighter. Real
it's-
trooper.
It's Maddox he's the problem now. So hopefully he sleeps through it. But I mean, I'm just happy for that guy, man. That guy Michael and Shanna, you deserve each other. I'm gonna
You
speak.
guys-
I'm speaking
you-
at the wedding.
Are you speaking?
I'm
have
speaking.
have you been working out a speech?
Oh yeah. I've got.
Can
I've
you
got a
tell
couple
me how it
bits.
starts?
I can.
Okay.
I go hard.
That's the first line that you say is I go hard.
I go hard. Actually, the first thing I say in the speech is "Oh boy." I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Michael, if you're listening,
That's
Oh,
all.
boy.
That's all you're getting, buddy.
I'm excited
Uh,
for you, man. That's really exciting stuff.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, to say the least.
Okay. Well,
So, Michael, if you ever listen to the podcast that you helped create, Good job. Good job finding someone who loves you for you. All
You're
right?
special, all on your own. That's why you had all those great, amazing birthday parties as a young boy, because you are the most special thing on the planet. You are.
You're the shining star. Well, man.
I mean, I'd like to say I had more, but I don't.
I just don't. I don't either.
I think we're like Icarus. We flew too close to the sun, and the wax melted our wings.
I
And
think
now we are falling and crashing to the planet Earth.
this was a fine podcast.
It was so fine.
It was fine.
Fine. Anyway, we're not going to be here next week, but you guys can always check us out, download us. Dan and Kody podcast. We got over 200 episodes you can listen to while you're driving in your car by yourself, or maybe you need something to kind of get your wife hot. We're there for that. Yeah, Dan, any other thoughts before we say goodbye for the next couple of weeks?
We got mad merch, yo. Shout out to my sister. She's bought like 4 different Dan and Kody shirts in the last like 2 weeks. She's killing it. She's supporting the gang, like I know me and Kody really appreciate that, because it's not just like, oh yeah, buy the shirt and give us money. Though if you bought a shirt and you wear it and someone asks you about it, like you could tell them about our podcast and then they'll listen. That's what we want. We want people to listen to this thing. So I really, really appreciate that type of support. And that link's always in our bio. There's all kinds of cool shit, like stickers and stuff you can put on your big-ass chunky water bottles, and all kinds of fun, like hoodies, T-shirts, and all that type of shit. So
all the Dan and Kody like slang
Yeah.
slogans that we use on the podcast,
yeah,
they're
and
all
if,
there.
if
And that was Dan, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting himself back locked in, but you guys want some stickers, find them, get them, love them, buy them. Dan, any other thoughts before we say? That's it. You guys have a great week. Everybody out.
Thanks for listening and laughing with the Dan and Kody podcast. Our email is danandcodypodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are on Instagram @Dan Kody Podcast. Check out our website, danandcody.com, and you can contribute to the podcast by going to patreon.com/Dan Kody Podcast.
Subscribe, bitch!
Everybody played themselves down to shit. All right.